Thanks, Michael. Time now for the breakdown, joined by former Broncos lineman Ryan Harris. Ryan, thanks for stopping by. And former Super Bowl champion, still Super Bowl champion. This Broncos team, far from being a Super Bowl contender.
It's really sad to see, Mark. I mean, they've really struggled, and it's not just one thing that's going wrong. I mean, it's a plethora of areas, offensively, now defensively, which is tough to see. And I really feel for those guys who I've won with, because I know how tough it is to be in this situation. I was on a team that went 2-14, losing 14 in a row. And you give the same effort each and every week to win a game, and then a game like today happens, and you've lost again, now the 7th in a row.
So Broncos turned to Paxton Lynch this week, kind of lukewarm on why they did it, but basically to give their former first-round pick a look. Didn't seem like it went that well. What did you see from the second-year guy?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good performance overall. You know, he was 9 for 14 for the day. Also had a great job when he had a play-action pass. Virgil Green got caught up, and he still rolled and decided quickly to run. And that's what you look for with a young quarterback, quick decisions. I thought Paxton made those. His accuracy wasn't exactly there, but we kind of knew that going in. So overall, an okay day for Paxton, but it didn't look good after the fact that Trevor Siemian came in and in just under 7 minutes of game time had 14 points for an offense who was scoreless until the fourth quarter.
But you did see signs of things that were positive from Paxton. I think some people are going to disagree with you there. You saw some things you liked?
Hey, he made completions, and at the end of the day, that's what you're looking for. You know, he had a condensed offense. He had very little time to prepare. He's still coming off of an injury. And again, 9 for 14. It wasn't a great quarterback rating, but you look for the quick decisions which he made, and he looked like he was comfortable, even though they gave up 5 sacks on the day, and that's a tough thing for a young quarterback to be a part of.
So offense as a whole, how do you think they did today? I mean, it seemed like they had issues until that fourth quarter.
It was a real tough time. I mean, they didn't have I don't think they crossed the 100-yard mark until the fourth quarter offensively, and so that's a problem. You know, you look at it, rushing the ball, they had just under 60 yards on the day. That's not going to get it done, especially with the young quarterback. So a lot of struggles, but I think, honestly, the toughest one, and it's tough for me to say as a former lineman, but 5 sacks on the day, you just can't do that in a division series. And, of course, again, a turnover in the first half for the Broncos.
Let's go back to the first quarter, and there's now this long growing history between Aqib Talib and Michael Crabtree. They get in a fight. Aqib gets ejected. Vance Joseph called it unacceptable when a great player like him takes himself out of the game. From a player's perspective, how do you handle that situation?
As a player, you love it. As a player, you absolutely love it. And listen, I was Aqib Talib's teammate when he had some issues as well in Indianapolis. But I'll tell you something. This is a team that's been called soft from its GM. This is a team, and you mentioned the issues with Crabtree before, that they've had issues to where they're going to come out right away. And, hey, when you watch it on the Avalanche, hey, that's a tough team. They're showing a lot of grit. But all of a sudden in football, when you do it, it's saying, oh, no, it's unacceptable. Well, it is acceptable. And especially for this team, what it does is it tells somebody, hey, no matter our record, if you cross the line, which Crabtree did cross the line, we are going to tax you. And Aqib Talib did that today. And I've been there. It's akin to a manager in baseball getting thrown out of a game. It rallies the troops. And defensively, they really got a boost from that, even though they were missing their best player.
I guess when the results at this point don't matter as much, I guess you can give them a little more leeway. All right, let's talk about another series. It looks like Paxton Lynch is going to have a touchdown pass, gets overturned, then a bad luck interception. Next thing you know, Raiders are scoring. That seems like the story of the year, where when one bad thing happens, 8 more happen.
You're absolutely right, Mark. I mean, that is the season in a nutshell. Not only was that a terrible 14-point swing, that was the first interception that the Oakland Raiders had in the entire season. The only team since 1933 not to have an interception in the first 11 games. So it was interesting to see that happen so early in the game, too. You really feel like these Broncos games, they're in it. There's a good defensive stop. Happened in the Patriots game. And then all of a sudden there's a turnover and you're behind the 8 ball again. And those teams are scoring off with turnovers, which makes it all the more hard to get out from behind that 8 ball.
He's Ryan Harris. You can hear him 3 to 6 on Altitude 950. I'm sure you'll have plenty to say about this one coming up tomorrow. And we'll have much more ahead on AutoNation All Access. Let's head back to Oakland. Michael Spencer, what do we got?